Hello, welcome to Wack or Woke. Andrea Coleman judges the law. I'm Andrea Coleman, and I'm going to be judging the law tonight along with 4 comedic judges. Wack or Woke is also affectionately called Woke Laws. This is the Supreme Court edition of the show. So for those of you who are Fondrias, and Fondrias are fans of Andrea, who have been to a Woke Law show before, welcome back. So excited to have you. This is the very first time that the Woke Law show is being live streamed over the internet. Normally it's a live show in New York City. So this is our first time online. And I'm going to give you a technical disclaimer right now. My name is Andrea Coleman, and I am a lawyer and a comedian. I am not a tech person, but I am running my own tech for this show tonight. And it's our first time, like I said, online, and our first time using this platform. So there may be some hiccups and some bumps along the way, but that is totally going to be fine. It's, I think, part of the whole experience. So welcome to everyone. And also thank you for choosing to spend this evening with me, with us, supporting comedy, supporting the Tank, supporting Black women making comedy. It's much appreciated. I'm excited to see you. There's so many things you could be doing tonight, things you could be watching, different shows and platforms, and you've chosen to be with us and on our show, and I'm really excited to have you here. So like I said, this is the Supreme Court edition of the show, which seemed relevant because we are about to get a new Supreme Court justice, and because Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away this year. So it just seems like the absolute right time to do a Supreme Court show. Now, if you're new to Wack or Woke, if you're new to the Woke Laws family, let me tell you how it goes. I'm an attorney and a comedian, and I love the law and I love comedy. And so Wack or Woke came out of this idea of taking laws and then dissecting them in a fun way. So Wack means bad and woke means good. So basically I'll pick a law on every show and I'll give a ruling on it, whether or not the show is whack, i.e. bad, or woke, i.e. good. And then I'll tell you why. And we've had so many different kinds of topics. We've had whether or not laws governing animal selfies are whack or woke, or poop laws, or fried chicken laws. And I take laws from all over the country. But because this show is a Supreme Court edition, we are going to be specifically looking at the laws governing the Supreme Court. So what happens is I'll give my ruling, and then over the course of the show, 4 comedians will also be sworn in by me as Woke Law judges, and they will also give a ruling on that law and whether or not they think it's a whack law or it's a woke law and why. And we'll have like fun, witty banter about it. And then also during the course of the show, I will highlight 2 Black female judges that I think should be shortlisted for the Supreme Court. Because if you're not aware of it, there's never been a Black woman on the Supreme Court. And I would love there to be a Black woman on the Supreme Court. And instead of just like complaining about it, I decided I'm going to help and create, let people know who these Black female judges are that are out there, Black women who are already serving on state courts and federal courts that I think would be perfect to be on the Supreme Court, or at the very least should be under consideration. And so that is the purpose of that part of the show. And we'll be talking about those people too. So I'm excited to have you all here tonight. So that's how the show works. And to catch those of you up who've actually never been to a show before, I'm going to show you a fun little 30-second trailer, which is the show that the last live show we did, which was in December of 2019. And it aired on PBS's All Arts channel this summer, to give you a sneak peek of what the show will entail. All right, now here's the fun part where I do my first time of running video on this platform. All right. And here.
Wack is like bad, woke is good. I'm gonna be judging the law tonight, and then I've got 3 comedians, and they're gonna make a ruling on whether the law is whack or woke.
That sounds super woke.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will be a funny and irreverent woke law judge?
I do.
The laws are from the same state, and they're similar. They're both about dog poop. You ever stuffed in dog poop?
Of course, I'm from New York.
So that was such a fun show. That was Todd Mondesi who made that hilarious last comment there in the trailer. And if you want to see that show, you can see it on the PBS's All Arts channel. It's still available to watch online if you'd like to watch it. I'm going to actually pop into the comments section here because there are some fun comments. Oh, this is great. Aw, this is so fun. Yeah, I'd like some fun comments here, people saying hi to each other, different Fondrias. I'm going to shout out some specific Fondrias a bit later in the show. But for now, I'd like to take a little moment to highlight, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this in the show. Usually in every show, we highlight 2 Black female judges, and we will be doing that tonight. But I also would like to take a minute to say something about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's bring her on the screen. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen and a fun picture of Ruth. Okay, there's Ruth. For those of you who would like a visual reminder of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And as most of you probably know, she was a Supreme Court justice, and she died not too long ago. And I think one of my favorite things about her is depicted in this photo here. So this is first. There's 2 pictures, picture in picture here. There's Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Judge Scalia. Those are the 2 of them on top of a elephant. And then there's also the 2 of them dressed up in costumes for an opera. So the significance of these photographs is that Judge Ginsburg is what you would consider to be a liberal judge. She was appointed by a Democratic president. And then there is Judge Scalia, and he is what you would consider to be a conservative judge. And they're both on opposite ends of the spectrum politically, but they were really just wonderful friends. They love to travel together, and they love to go to events together, as you can see depicted in this photo. And I'm gonna read one of my favorite quotes. This is the late Judge Ginsburg talking about Judge Scalia. She says, "We are 2 people who are quite different in their core beliefs, but who respect each other's character and ability. There's nobody else I spend every New Year's Eve with," which I just think is kind of at the heart of the Woke Law show, because the whole idea is to bring people here to discuss in a comedic and fun way different laws. And usually the comedians I have on the show do not agree with me about what I think the law should be or shouldn't be. I tend to be pretty strict with the laws and rules, but we do it in a way that we're still really respectful of each other, and we have a great time, and are still able to be friends afterwards. And I think that's something that would be really helpful if people were able to do in this country. So wanted to highlight Judge Ginsburg and her service to our country. Let's see, now we're going to dive into the law itself. Now I'm going to share my screen again and put the law on the screen. So the laws that we're going to deal with tonight are from the Constitution. Let's see. And I'll put the specific ones up here Sharing my screen again. Okay. U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You see, it's kind of wordy. I'm just going to read the parts that are relevant to Supreme Court justices. And it says he, and the he here is the President of the United States. He shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint judges of the Supreme Court. Second part of the Constitution that applies to justices of the Supreme Court is Article 3, Section 1. And I'm going to read the whole thing because this entire thing applies to Supreme Court justices. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior, and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. So the different elements of this are basically, the president is going to nominate these people, but they stay, based on good behavior, which basically means judges can stay for life. You can't change how much money they make. And these are the only rules that govern the qualifications to be a Supreme Court justice. The reason why this is significant and I find challenging is this. So in the Constitution, these are the requirements to be president. You have to be 35 years old, natural born citizen, and have been reside in the United States for 14 years, at least 14 years. Requirements to be senator, 30 years old, must be a U.S. citizen for 9 years, and resident in the state the senator reps at the time of the election. And then to be a member of the House, you have to be at least 25 years old, a U.S. citizen for 7 years, and resident in the state the House represents at the time. Don't necessarily have to be a resident of the district. So the significance of this to me is there are no age requirements to be a Supreme Court justice. There are no residency requirements. There's nothing in there that says you have to go to law school or that you have to practice law. There's nothing else in there. And so I think this is a whack. I think these laws are whack. I think that they need some more specificity in there. And I was thinking about this because thinking like what would I want in a Supreme Court justice? I do think, basing this off of what we've got in the Constitution already, like I would like our Supreme Court justices to be at least 35 years old. I think a Supreme Court justice should have graduated from not just a law school, but an accredited law school. I think a Supreme Court justice needs to have passed a state bar and be in good standing as a member of a state bar. And I think they should have practiced law for a certain period of time. I'm going to say practice law for like 5 years, because I would like a judge to actually be someone who has been in the court system and knows how it works, seen other judges. And then I would even go so far as to say, I would like it if a Supreme Court justice has served on a lower court for at least 3 years before they become a Supreme Court justice. Because I think after 3 years, maybe we'll have a record of how they rule on certain cases and what their judicial temperament is. They don't have to have been a federal judge. They could have been a state court judge or a federal judge, but I think some experience that we can look at before they become a Supreme Court justice. So those are some of the things I think need to be added to the law. And then I'm going to reserve my right. I'm going to talk to the other comedians and see what they have to say. Maybe they'll change my mind on certain things. The comedian that's coming up first, she and I usually actually don't agree on law, so I'm kind of excited to see what she has to say because I have a feeling she's gonna drag me for some of the thoughts I have. We'll see. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. So that's my version. That's my verdict. I think this law both of these laws are whack, the laws that have to do with the Supreme Court. And I will say this, at this stage, it's not that we haven't, for example, had any Supreme Court justices that were like super young, like 22 years old or something like that. But like, because there's no rule that says they can't be that young, they could be. So I just think we should have it written down if it's something that's important to us. And it's certainly something that's important to me. So before we bring on our first comedian, it's getting hot in here. Creating law makes me warm. I'm taking my sweater off. I'd like to shout out some Fondrias. And again, if Fondria is a fan of Andrea, so a fan of the Woke Law Show or a fan of me. And so my parents are watching tonight. I would like to give a special shout out to my mother, Cynthia Sears, and my dad, Gus Coleman. I also want to send a shout out to Pat, Miss Pat. She's my man's mom, and Linda. She's my dad's girlfriend. Also want to shout out to Wendy and Cheryl and Blaze and Nick, some ardent Fondrias who have always been supportive of me in the show, who I know are watching tonight. So. All right, we will be bringing on our first comedian. Now, I have to say this. Normally, I have black robes for the comedians, but we're quarantined, so they don't have a black robe. I have my robe, but it's hot in here. Let me show it to you. It's my black robe. I will drape it so that you know it's here, but I'm not going to put it on. I think we should have our judges be cool-tempered, and I think not being too hot physically is part of that. So, all right, now I'm going to bring on Marcella Onyango. Let's see. Add her to the stream. Hi,
Hello.
Marcella.
Hey, Andrea. I love the way you were like, she's gonna drag me. What?
I don't know. You might have very strong and differing opinions. Marcella is a New York City comedian. Actually, she's also done comedy in DC, but she lives in New York now. She has a couple of her own her own comedy shows where she talks about different issues. So I'm very excited to talk to you tonight about this law. Before we get into it, though, I want to let the audience know some of your background. Like, you are a comedian, but you also are very educated on government and politics. Can you please tell the Woke Law Court, about your educational background, please?
Lord. Okay, I guess I'm fine. I my undergrad is in international relations and economics, and I have a master of public administration. I don't know if that's super educated, but I had time, so I went to school because I didn't know what I was doing. So here we are.
I think you're very educated. So now, because I know this about you, because I follow you on social media, the impression that I get, Marcella, is that you are somewhat of a revolutionary, not super into capitalism. So in your ideal version, in your version of an ideal country, would there be a Supreme Court?
Not the way we have it now. Absolutely not. First of all, I don't believe in centralized power. So I think the Supreme Court is garbage to begin with. I don't think a president who's been picked by the Electoral College, which is, by the way, not direct democracy, should be. I don't think that should happen. But I also just don't like this idea. I think that education as we know it is a little bit elitist. Thinking that people should get become just because you went to law school doesn't Dred Scott was passed by a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's if y'all who don't know, Dred Scott is the Supreme Court ruling that said that Black people are 3/5 of a person. Somebody who went to law school thought this, right? And so I'm of the opinion that just because you're smart and you went to school and you read some books doesn't mean you're smart or capable. And I feel like a lot of the times people who are the smartest can also be the most elitist and also just they don't have any empathy because bad things they don't ever think are going to happen to them. You know what I mean? I feel like people who are we shouldn't feed the homeless. It's because they know they're never going to be homeless. It's that mentality sort of. And so, yeah, in an ideal world for me, I would like things to be democratized. I don't think they wish, because I feel like currently what we have is we have like Supreme Court, or you want to call it like a court autocracy, because like they can slam down laws or they can pick up laws, and I just don't think my rights to like have an abortion or not should be left up to the whims of somebody who like got drunk and raped somebody. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that should happen. But anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at.
So then in an ideal world or an ideal country, is there a Supreme Court or no?
You're talking about structure of government. I think that I don't think there's a Supreme Court, but they don't function the way they do. I think that the legislative branch, because if they're directly elected by the citizens, should be the ones making laws. I don't think a court that's not elected should be making laws, because to me, that's not democracy. So if the court is in fact like elected, or like the citizens get to decide, then I think it's fine. But if it's not, but I do think that the legislative shouldn't be the arbiter of all laws. Like they should be people who are like, okay, is this fair? And I think in some countries, what the Supreme Court does is that they don't just strike down laws. What they do is that they're like, okay, this doesn't sound right. I'm going to send it back to the legislative branch, which actually makes laws, and have them like rethink this and make it more constitutional. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I do. So it sounds like you're okay with there being a body that looks at laws and whether or not they're working, but you want that body to be elected by the people.
Yeah, I want it to be democratized. Yeah. I don't believe in centralized power, because I think it's bad.
Okay.
Because I feel like if I had power, I would do fucked up shit. I'd be like, give me all the Gucci and Chanel. Fuck everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so you prioritize Gucci and Chanel. Understood. and wine. Can I ask you, Marcella, what is the lovely wine you are partaking of this evening?
Girl, I don't know. My husband bought this and poured it for me. It's sparkling. It's Prosecco, which is my drink of choice. Sorry, guys. Andrea, is it okay that I'm drinking on your show?
I think so. I have not been told.
Okay, I'm gonna put it away, because I don't want to get you in trouble, because I know you love rules and I respect you, and I do
love rules. I have not been told that there is a rule against alcohol consumption. You know, Fandria, just so we know, Marcella is of age. She looks young and shiny and vibrant, but she's not like 19. She's over 21, and she's of legal drinking age. Just so we know, just so everyone knows, that's the reason. So it's not illegal for her to consume alcohol. Now, Marcella, okay, so what is the word you use to describe yourself? You don't believe in centralized power. And
you call me an anarchist?
An anarchist. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's so funny because I love rules and structure. So I don't want to tear down. And for those of you who can't tell, so Marcella and we're both Black women. We both have afros. We both have white male partners. And that is where the similarities end. So Marcella and I she's a friend of the show. She's been on the show a few times. And but she's also a personal friend, so we hang out with one another and everything. Maybe we are a version of Ginsburg and Scalia, except when it comes to the way we relate to government.
Yeah, but I feel like you and I are more similar than you say. Like, for example, you've always said the Democratic Party is garbage, and I've always agreed with you. So there we go. So
for the record, garbage is not the word I use to describe the Democratic Party. But I would say that the Democratic Party doesn't completely encompass all of the thoughts and feelings I have about government. But yeah, I do think that the way our present system is set up is not working. I don't think any party right now is the quote unquote answer. So I do agree with you on that. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to quiz you to find out which Supreme Court justice you are the most like, my dear. And
oh my God, it's going to be Scalia.
Girl, if it's Scalia, you're gonna have to have a come to Jesus moment at your next anarchy meeting. They're gonna kick you out. Because
you think anarchists have meetings?
I don't know.
We have like an agenda. First of all, we're gonna like have mutual aid, and then we're gonna burn the police station down. Okay.
At some point there needs to be a meeting of the minds, even if you're an anarchist. Now I'll say this: I've taken this quiz twice. Both times I get Kennedy. I get Justice Kennedy each time, even if I change up some of my answers. So if you and I get the same judge, you're gonna have to look at yourself and think about your ideas, and maybe you are not as anarchist as you think you are, but we'll see. Okay, let me get to the quiz. Oh, what did I do with it? Okay, let's start, it says. Okay, question number 1, Marcella.
Mm-hmm.
There are 6 options. What city would you most like to visit? Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Los Angeles, or San Francisco?
New York.
Okay, you live here, but okay, fine.
I visit New York every day. I walk outside and I'm visiting.
Okay.
It's so nice. I love it. I love it here.
Awesome. Oh, I think I know the answer to this one. So it says pick a drink.
Okay.
Water, beer, white wine, soda, red wine, coffee, or tea.
Oh, I'm going to have to go with red wine.
Even though you're drinking white wine?
But it's sparkling. Okay, so here's my thing. If it's sparkling white wine, I can drink it. If you'd have said champagne or Prosecco, I would have said that. But if it's not sparkling, I take red. And it's like always warms me up. You know, when it's cold outside and you want to just like, red wine is like good for that. Okay. But you are right. Most of the times you see me, I'm always drinking Prosecco because I'm basic. What do you know? I'm a basic anarchist. What do you want?
Basic anarchist. I feel that is your new Instagram name. Basic anarchist. Okay. Next question. This might be a hard one for you. What political party do you most identify with? Republican, Democrat, or independent/other?
Independent/other doesn't mean anything. Oh, fuck. I'm definitely not do I have to?
Yes, Marcella.
Oh, so it's independent, Democrat or Republican. Is there like a Green Party? Is there like a Labor Party? Is there like
independent/other?
Independent/other, I guess I'll have to pick that.
Okay. Next question. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what would you bring? Food, a football, a smartphone, a friend, or a favorite book?
Can the friend be my husband?
Sure.
Yes, I'll do that. I'll bring a friend.
I hope he's listening and
smiling. He's laughing. I love him way too much. It's not healthy.
Okay, what is your favorite season? Winter, summer, spring, or fall?
Summer, baby.
Summer, baby. Okay.
I love me some heat.
All right, what kind of pet do you want? A fish, a horse, a dog, a cat, or a bird?
A horse? What?
I don't know.
Okay, so a fish, a cat, a horse, or a dog?
Fish, horse, or a bird?
I think I'll take a dog.
Okay.
I love little dogs, especially like a little pug. I love a good pug.
Oh my gosh, is the answer? Oh my God, calculating results.
If it's Kalia, I'm never going to talk to you ever again. We're never going to be friends.
It's not Scalia. Wait, let me just check the comment section here. Just to see if anybody has in their mind any thoughts about which justice Marcella got before I announce it.
Oh my God, this is so terrifying. This is so embarrassing.
This is awesome. Okay, I'm not actually seeing. I think people. I heard a.
I took a picture of you trying to waiting for the moment when I'm going to be dragged in front of whatever many people are on this show right now. This is embarrassing.
Okay, nobody is wagering a guess, hazarding a guess. So the answer, and this is hysterical to me. The answer is Justice Anthony Kennedy.
That's crazy.
That's who I always get. It says you are Justice Anthony Kennedy. For those of you who aren't familiar, Justice Kennedy was appointed to the Supreme Court in 1987 by President Ronald Reagan. Despite the famous surname, Justice Kennedy is not related to the famous Kennedy political dynasty. Like Kennedy, when faced with complicated decisions, you are detail-oriented and prefer to look at all aspects of a situation before making a decision.
I mean, that is true. I do look at all aspects of situations. Somebody said Thurgood Marshall, so.
Oh, that's really amazing. Oh, let me.
You know who that? Who said that? You know who?
TV is that Tad?
Yeah, it's Tad.
Tad is Marcella's husband, And I want to get Thurgood Marshall. That would be amazing, but I never get him. I don't know what I have to put in these answers, but
because it's like personality. It's not like what would you do in a specific situation, like
right.
in a situation, but like know what laws you agree with. It's like what's your
Right.
I mean, I guess you and I are similar. That's why we get along, because we always like to like hear everybody out what they say. I hear people out and I say that's garbage. You hear people out and say, oh, that's interesting.
Garbage is your favorite word, and somebody
Trash and garbage are my favorite.
like put in here something about liking you saying garbage. Oh, someone said that I should be on the Supreme Court. I'm going to highlight that.
I agree. If you were in the Supreme Court, I would think that the Supreme Court is okay.
Oh, that's what I like about like your willingness to reconsider your thoughts. Now, I will say this: I don't think being on the Supreme Court is a lot of work, but maybe not, because it seems like Scalia and Ginsburg run on vacation a lot.
Yeah, and can we back up to that law about good behavior? Kavanaugh was never on good behavior. How is this constitutional that he's in the Supreme Court? Like, oh, or the guy who put the pubic hair in the
So I hear you, but the thing is, there was even a judge that was impeached, and he still was considered to be. He still stayed on the Supreme Court. So it's very difficult to get somebody off. I think there should be term limits to be on the Supreme Court.
Exactly. I think that they should be term limits. And I also think that if we discover that you're an asshole, you can't be. Like, I think that it should, we should have, or every 2 years, we should have a memorandum. What is that vote? No confidence from the citizenry. It's like, asshole, not asshole. You're an asshole, you gotta go.
I think that's fair. The only thing, and I'll say this, it's very frustrating to me as somebody so I've practiced law. Audience, for those of you who don't know, I've been practicing law for over 13 years, almost 14 years. And I've done thousands of depositions. And a deposition is where you ask somebody questions under oath, and then they have to give you a response. And there's literally nothing more frustrating to me than asking someone a question and then they don't answer it. And that is basically the way our political process has turned out to be. Nobody answers direct questions, not Democrats, not Republicans, not conservatives, like, it's just people have learned to be vague and like skirt around issues so that they don't say anything that makes it hard for them to get elected. And so while I do agree with this point you're making, this idea of the citizenry electing judges, I'm open to that. I'm just worried about the politicizing of it, that people will become even less, less, not authentic, but just like open about what they actually think and believe.
But are they open now? Like, didn't answer any questions. Yeah. And I guess it's like, yeah, like, I guess the part of me, I think the reason why politicians don't say the truth is because like, they know we don't want to hear their truth. If politicians said the truth, they'd be like, we work for the rich capitalists and we want to make sure that you stay poor so they can stay rich. Nobody wants to hear that. So they're like, come up with all this shit. They're like, ooh, we want you to have healthcare, but we're not going to give it to you. It's like, okay, like, just say you want me to die. Like, I'd rather, like, I would respect you more. Honestly, I would respect Biden more if he got on stage and he's like, you know what, guys, we're the fake alternative to the Republicans. And what we want to do is that we want to make you think that you have a choice. And we're not going to give you healthcare. We're going to let the cops keep killing Black people. But we're not going to get on stage and say white supremacists should take over. That's where we draw the line, guys.
You want people to just be open, but you know that I agree with you in that I don't think that people really want to hear the truth.
No, they don't.
I think there's maybe a part of them that thinks they want to hear the truth, but they don't really want to hear the truth. So it's always a delight talking to you. I'm going to be bringing you back on because the next thing I'm going to do is highlight a judge. And I know you and I have discussed this judge and I have a feeling you're not a big fan of this person, but that's what I like about you is that we don't always have the same opinion on things. So I'm going to put you back in the waiting room while I talk about the judge. But bottom line, it seems your verdict, Justice Kennedy, is that you think the current laws for the Supreme Court are whack.
Wait, no, I didn't say that. I don't think there should be an age
No.
limit. Wait, why did you say they're whack? I don't think there should be an age limit. Wait, what was that?
No, I said you don't think the current laws about the Supreme
Yes.
you think the laws about the Supreme Court are whack.
I don't, or I do.
You do.
I don't.
The current laws governing the Supreme about how to get a Supreme Court justice. Do you like those laws?
Yeah, I don't think that there should be an age limit. I don't think you have to have an. Oh yeah. Well, no, I do think they're woke because they don't have any. It's what I said. I don't like elitism. Like I don't think that somebody should have a particular education or they should have a particular background, right?
But you don't want them to be appointed by the president.
Yes, yeah. So I guess you're right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess I do think you're right.
So, the reason why you don't like them is different than mine.
Yes,
but you also don't like the current laws. But I'm glad you're drawing a distinction because we land at the same place that the laws need to be adjusted. It's just we think that way for different reasons. So
that's correct. Yeah. That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, Marcella. I'll see you again soon.
Bye.
As long as I can figure out how to. Okay, there. All right, Marcella Onyango.
Now we're gonna do part of the show where I highlight Black female
Supreme Court justice. Because, like I said, there's never been a Black woman on the Supreme Court, and I would love there to be a Black woman on the Supreme Court. So I'm doing my part, I think, which is just letting people know about some of the Black women who are currently judges in different parts of the country and letting people know how amazing they are. So the judge that I'm going to highlight next, let me put up our picture here, which will require me to share the screen again. All right. It's a picture. I have to say this. It's a picture of her with her parents. The only reason I've done that is because it's the only picture I could find that was big enough. Otherwise, it would have been a tiny picture. So that's the only reason. It's not because she's so young that she's not allowed to go anywhere without her parents. All right, let's see. Share the screen. Okay. There she is. Okay, so this is Judge Ada Elaine Brown. So she was actually the first Black female judge nominated by Donald Trump. She was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma in 1974. She got her bachelor's degree from Spelman in 1996. And for those of you who aren't aware of this, Spelman is a historically Black college. And then she went to Emory for her law degree, got that in 1999. She was the valedictorian of her high school. She was sophomore and junior class president. She graduated magna cum laude from Spelman. She was in a historically Black sorority called the AKAs. It's actually the first historically Black sorority in the country. And I also have to shout out that some of my relatives are members of AKAs, certain of my cousins and aunts. She's also a member of Mensa. She's a member of the Federalist Society. She's a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. She is a member of the Mayflower Society. She speaks 3 languages. She drives a Prius. She's a tribal member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. And she taught art for children age K through 12. Let's see. And I found this really fun interview with her. She was asked if you had to have lunch with one member of the United States Supreme Court, who would it be and why? She said Chief Justice John Roberts, because of his Indiana ties, his considerate manner, and his conservative judicial philosophy. But then she says, actually, my first preference would be to dine with former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. I had the privilege of meeting her at an Appellate Judges Education Institute conference in Scottsdale and found her to be approachable, charming, and kind. And then I found this really fun video of her. I'm going to stop sharing that and play this video that I found of her talking about her beliefs on being a judge. Hopefully it is appropriately queued up. Okay, great. Looks like it is. All right. Well, let's see. I want to make sure. I'm going to stop sharing it. I want to make sure that I had the volume turned on, because if I don't have the volume turned on, then you won't be able to hear it. I didn't have it turned on. I'm so glad I didn't click play. Shout out to Marcella, who told me to make sure the volume was turned on before I hit share. Okay. Now I'm gonna hit play.
All rise, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. United States District Court. The Honorable United States District Judge Ada Brown presiding. Please be seated.
I was a biology major in college and took a women in the law class. It's just kind of a one-off. And I fell in love with the law. There's this whole cornucopia of things you could do with a law degree. But mainly what attracted me to it was that you spoke for others. And I loved that standing in and representing somebody and becoming their advocate. I interned my first summer of law school with a judge in Atlanta. Before hearing, she would pull me in and talk to me about what her thoughts were and what was about to happen, what was going through her mind. So I really got to see behind the curtain and kind of under the role of a judge. And after that summer, I knew that's what I wanted to do someday. But we have a long history of service in the law in my family. And it begins with my great-grandfather's uncle, who was a Choctaw life person, who were roving judges based on their experience and their wisdom. And then my grandfather, who was a court reporter for a district court judge, when there weren't many Native Americans with good government jobs. His child became a district court judge and was my great uncle. And so when I became a judge, I felt like I was part of that family history in law. And so I'm very proud of our history, beginning with Choctaw Life Horseman and now as a federal judge. I just believe God gives us each a little special talent. And some people are meant to be judges, and some people are meant to be artists. Everything you do, you should do with excellence, so that people look at you for the next opportunity. And don't be deterred by no. This is my dream job, but it took me 45 years to get here. And so whatever it is that you're supposed to do that with excellence and make your tribe proud.
Alrighty. Let's see. So that is that's Judge Brown, and I wanted to highlight her because I find her to be so many contradictions, and that's what I really like about her. You know, that she's a member, she's an AKA, so she's in a historically Black sorority, but she's also in the Daughters of the American Revolution, and she's in Mensa, and she's, you know, nominated by Donald Trump. But she's also this Black woman and used to be an art teacher. So I think there's so many different things about her. And even though, you know, I'm assuming because she was, and she has definitely at one time, at least before she was a judge, identified with as being a member of the Republican Party. Even though I'm not a member of the Republican Party, the fact that she is so eclectic, for lack of a better word, and you know, I would feel comfortable having her on the court. So I'm gonna bring Marcella in. I know she doesn't agree with me, but that's why I want to bring her in and see what she has to say. Hi, Marcella. Oh, I can't hear you.
I was laughing the whole time. Oh my God, no. You say eclectic. I say, who's part of the Daughters of the American Revolution? Are they like not all races? Is this, I'm asking to ask.
So this is what I'm saying. So I think, you know, to say that, you know, everybody who's a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution is a racist or not a racist, I think that's a blanket statement, similar to the blanket statements that are made about Black people.
I don't think it is. Okay. I know, I'm sorry. I got a little high because I laughed because you're such a sweet human and you try to see people, and I am just like, you were part of the DAR and the Mayflower? What? Those are the people who killed the Native Americans. So the contradiction to me is that you're part of the Choctaw Nation, which is indigenous people, when you people that you claim to be of lineage of wiped out the Choctaw Nation. I don't know. It seems really strange, and like it doesn't surprise me that she's a Republican. I'm sorry. This is just so funny. I watched that video and I was like, you were like a contradiction in the sense of like you can't claim to like love like the settlers when the settlers killed your people. Like you can't be both. It's like me saying I'm I don't know. Does that feel weird to you? Doesn't it feel weird?
Think that I think the fact that she is like is a descendant of like all these different peoples and is and that's important to her and that's something that she claims. I think that will make her thought process and decision making more nuanced, because I don't think she's going to come into decisions thinking, okay, all these people are one way and all those people are that way. And that's what I like about it.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Like, I get what you're saying, that you think that she's going to be thoughtful and think about both sides. But I also think that for you to call yourself a Republican in this current environment is like really triggering for a lot of people, because I think that the Republican Party has made it very clear that like they're the party that is welcome to, like they're welcoming racists. Like they're open. They're like, come on, babies. You don't like Black people. You don't like people of color. We're here for you. So I think it's problematic. And I will say this, and I talked to you about it earlier. Like, I don't like to make blanketed statement, but if you're willing to give yourself a label, like you have to deal with the consequences of having that label. Like the DRR is like responsible for like a lot of like revisionist history, especially when it comes to like race issues, right? When you're talking about like the Confederate part, like the Confederacy, and like they're the ones who are really pushing for like this new like education of like what the Confederacy meant, like, right? Like it's not just racist and enslaving people. It's like, but we're fun too, and we just believed in freedom. Like they did that. Like to me, that's racist. And like for you, it's like me saying like I'm part of the Boogaloo, whatever you call those people, the Boogaloo boys or whatever. And then I'm like, but also like I'm married to a Black person and it's okay. You can't have both. Like, do you get? I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course, I understand what you're saying. I think that your viewpoint is how a lot of people feel, but I don't think that's going to lead us where we need to go. Because it's just going to continue the division. It's like we need to move forward. Like I get it. I mean, so yeah. I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying. We've discussed this before. Can
I ask you a question? Where do you want us to go? Like, that's the question, right? That's an open question. Because to me, it's like whenever we accept these people who are willing to like accept parts of America that are disgusting and bad, I think we're willing to say that it's okay that you think these thoughts. Let's just like compromise. But it's like, what are we compromising on? You know what I mean?
I think that I don't think we're going to have, I think it's unrealistic that we're going to have a Supreme Court where everybody thinks the same things, but is also representative of the country. So I think if you've got all these people, everyone in the country who's going to be, in your ideal situation, everyone in the country gets to elect who's going to be on the Supreme Court, which means there's going to be a lot of diverse members of the court in terms of thought. And I want there to be people on the Supreme Court who have diverse thought, but that can also come together and have a conversation. And I mean, for me, in my job, that's what I have to do every day. Like I have one position, my opposing counsel has another position, and then we have to get to a certain place. So I want to talk more about this, but I need to bring on the other.
You do.
But if there's time, I'm going to bring you back. And Blaze Mancias, friend of the show, Andrea, he wants you to bring the heat, Marcella, and you did.
Well, thanks for having me on, Andrea. This is always fun talking to you about stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love having you on too. Okay, I will hopefully see you later in the show.
All right, bye.
Okay, let's see. All right. So you heard my verdict on the law. You heard Marcella's verdict. We actually have the same verdict, but for different reasons. And now we're going to bring on Cami Dimitrova. Okay, let's see. Cami. Add her to the stream. Okay, there you are. Hi, Cami.
Hi, Andrea.
How's it going, lady?
It's good. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let me get your banner going here.
Yes.
All right. All right, there you are.
Oh my God.
So Cami, you are a Brooklyn-based comedian and performer. You have a podcast. You also do these incredible videos that you post on your Instagram. I would definitely encourage everyone to go to Cammie's website and to her IG because she has a lot of fun things going. Tell us about your podcast that I got to be a guest on not too long ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, sure. Well,
during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh. Well, before I even say that, I just want to say thank you for having me. I feel like I'm among queens right now because you have people that are so smart and so educated and like can speak to these topics in such like cool ways. And I'm over here like, I did my laundry today. So it's like Marcella literally has a master's degree. You're a lawyer. I'm like, I made lunch. So thank you for having me. But yeah, no, I do have a podcast. And it's called How Do You Hustle with Cammie Dimitrova. And it's basically about how comedians or people that are artists, like how they make money while they also pursue a creative dream or career. And we had a great conversation about how you are an amazing lawyer and an amazing comic and juggling both. So that was awesome.
Yeah. And you also, I think one of the things I really enjoyed about being on your podcast was we got to speak really honestly about how hard it was with the pandemic and how it just seemed like all these comedians were ready to just raring to go to do comedy. And I was feeling depressed and did not want to do anything. And you identified with that. And so I just thought it was awesome how open you were about how challenging it is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, anyone who's like on fire right now, I question their sanity because I'm like, in what way? In what way? Because nothing is right now. So it's like, you're doing a show right now, which is awesome, but I feel like enough time has passed
right.
Okay, to be productive. But like in those first 3 months, there were people like popping off with like Zoom shows and like, it was like April. I was like, okay, it's been a month, but, yeah.
Well, and so I find you to be very like thoughtful and nuanced in how you think about things, and definitely on woke laws. I mean, as you can see from the earlier discussion, I like to really get into it in terms of the way people think about things and why do they think a certain way, and what was your relationship with like laws and rules growing up? Like, did you have a lot of rules and laws in your house, or was it kind of free spirited?
Oh my gosh, rule follower number one. I was like, what? I was like, I had like perfectionist rule follower. It was like, I couldn't go to anyone's party. I was like, had to be in bed by a certain time. It was like, I mean, like grew up with immigrant parents, right? So they were very like, you are not sleeping over anywhere. You're not like doing like anything. And I think I was like, I had like a giant stick up my butt in terms of like, not that rule followers do. Gotta take that back. But I feel like
I'm not offended by it. I'm a rule follower and I'm okay with that.
I know, I still am. I feel like I'm very like, oh, is that going to be bad? I don't know if we should do that. And like, I feel like that's definitely my vibe. I do admire like Marcella's energy. Like I was like nodding aggressively to everything she was saying. Cause I think like we have the same principles. I'm very much like, yes, burn it all down. But I think like burn it. But I do still like abide because I feel like I was brought up that way. You know, I'm like, whatever you say. Yeah.
Where are your parents from?
Bulgaria. I am too. I was, yeah.
Oh, cool. You were born in Bulgaria.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And does that influence your comedy?
Yeah. just having like immigrant parents that were like, you don't even know. Like my dad was like, your friends ever get murdered? I'm like, no. Or whatever. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you're just like, it's crazy. So you're just like, you know, the life they had and the life like I had is so different. And so I think that does like inform my comedy for sure.
I wish that I had known that you were from Bulgaria. I could have certainly just asked you, and then I would have looked to be like, what is the Supreme Court situation like in Bulgaria to see like comparatively how it is in that country versus in the United States.
I tell you what, the deep pockets run the country. And it's not that different from the way it is here, I guess. It's just more transparent over there. It's just like the mafia is like in full swing. It's like, you know, it's a very poor country. They're like the poorest country in the EU. It's not in the EU. I don't know how that happened, but they did. Wow. And then now it's like pretty corrupt. But they've just had so many regime changes. So like when the wall fell in 89, they basically were like, I guess we're starting from scratch because they've never had their own government. They've always been like colonized and stuff. So it was like a weird turning point. So yeah.
Well, do you find, so it sounds like there's the part of you that's like very revolutionary, like Marcella, but then also the rule following. So I'm very curious. I mean, when I give you this quiz, if you also come down on Kennedy, I'm going to start thinking there's something wrong with this quiz. Like, is Justice Kennedy?
I know.
And so let's see. Okay, I'll give you the quiz first.
Okay.
Then we'll find out how you feel about the Supreme Court. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna start I have to go back to the beginning of the quiz, which
I kind of want to just say answers that are different just to see. I want to be like San Francisco beer.
Well, it'd be interesting if every single person that I somehow picked for the show, even though it was kind of random, but you know what? I was just like, okay, well, who do I want to have on the show? Maybe it's not random. Maybe I just have a sensibility where I only want, let's see. Now, somehow I'm trying to go to okay. I'm trying to go back to the beginning of the quiz and okay, now it's happy again. All right. Let's start. Okay. What city would you most like to visit? Boston, New York, DC, San Fran, LA, or Chicago?
I actually would like to visit San Francisco.
Okay, great, great. Have you ever been?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I went to Thurgood Marshall's school there because I was working for a nonprofit and we went to go hang out with the kids. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, maybe maybe
yeah, it'll get me there.
You get Thurgood Marshall and be so jealous. Okay, pick a drink: water, beer, wine, white wine. I'm sorry, soda, red wine, coffee, or tea.
Coffee.
Okay. All right. What political party do you most identify with? Democrat, Republican, independent / other?
Right. This is so, I mean, similarly to Marcella, it's like, what's going on with either? I mean, definitely not Republican. Let's be clear. Let's just get that out there. I feel like, I would say Democrat. The current nominee is not my favorite, but I'll say Democrat for now.
Okay. Let's see. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what would you bring? Food, football, smartphone, a friend, or a favorite book?
A friend.
Okay. What's your favorite season?
Summer.
Okay.
Who says winter?
Nobody I hang out with.
Shut up in the chat. I see you.
Okay, what kind of pet do you want? A fish, horse, dog, cat, or a bird?
Dog.
Okay.
Bobs.
All right, it's calculating the results. While it's doing that, I'm going to pop over to StreamYard to see if anybody sounded off in the chat. It doesn't look like anyone sounded off in the chat. Let's see. Oh, you got a different one. I'm so excited. Okay, the test is not flawed. You got Justice Stephen Breyer. It says you are Justice Stephen Breyer. Justice Breyer was appointed to the Supreme Court by President Bill Clinton in 1994. Unlike his textualist fellow justices, Breyer prefers an approach to interpreting the Constitution that focuses on the intended meanings of the Founding Fathers rather than a literal interpretation of the text. Like Breyer, you prefer to look at each situation objectively, and you are very sensitive to the needs of others.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot because that's anti-Scalia. If I know anything, he's like a textist. Is that what it's called? Where you like take
strict interpretation of the language of the law.
That's as much legal jargon as I took out of me tonight. I listened to one podcast. So, but I know he's literal.
Right.
That makes me feel good. And someone who's like interpreting the law. Okay. That's good.
I'm just happy that it's not Kennedy again. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Kennedy, but I'm like, is this test?
Yeah, it's like it's not hacked, which is good.
So, in terms of the Supreme Court, what do you think about the current laws of the Supreme Court, like that I read? Do you think there need to be, my viewpoint is I'm okay with the Supreme Court, but I want there to be more rules in there. Marcella is like less rules, but elected by the people directly.
I have to agree with Marcella. I feel like it makes, if we can democratize the process, I feel like that feels like the purest form of like what the people want, right? So it's like, how can we reflect the people's needs? I mean, the judge also has to be confirmed by the Senate, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's like there is like a sense of that, but I think it's not like direct democracy, right? So it's like that is important, which I agree with. My big thing is like I don't feel like age requirements and like educational history are the best benchmarks to determine whether or not a person is like of good like judgment and standing. I almost feel like we need to like rethink the way we assess those things. Like an elite college could still mean you're corrupt, aka Ted Cruz, aka all the like Republican candidates that have ever like run for office. But what is a cool assessment of someone's merit could maybe be like their level of empathy that they have. Like, how do we measure that? Or like their like level of judgment, or like how much have they struggled in their life? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe you're 15, but you have experienced like a shit ton of hardship and you like know what it means to make decisions. Like, I feel like like just because one person who's 35 could be vastly different from another person who's 35 based on their life experience. Mm-hmm. So how can we like better measure that stuff, if that makes sense? That's how I feel.
Yeah, I hear you. And I hadn't even thought about what you're saying about like empathy. I think there probably are ways to measure empathy or, tests to take on those sorts of things. And I do think that's definitely relevant. And then life experience, I think, is really important. So yeah, I mean, I like this. You're making me, I always start off the show, I'm like, this is what I think, but listening to Marcella, I'm like, okay, maybe it doesn't have to be someone who's a law school graduate. Although what I like about the law school piece, and even more than the law school piece, what I like about practicing law is that there's the practical of you're kind of forced into situations where you have different opinions of somebody and you have to work with them. Mm-hmm. And so I like that, but there are other ways to get at that, just like, what you're saying about empathy. I'm like, oh yeah, measuring empathy. Like it would be great if I had a judge who had some empathy.
Yeah. Like empathy and like struggle and stuff like that, where you're like, well, how, like, the decisions that you're going to have to be making for the people, right? That's 300 million people, which is also another topic we can talk about, is like, that's just the population size of the US is like significantly larger than like so many other countries, like first world countries, right? But it's like thinking about like, maybe every judge needs to experience what it means to have an abortion to then decide what, like, what are these, like, yeah. I just feel like, what are those experiences? And like, if you're someone that's sort of coasted through life and hasn't really had to struggle, like, how can you make decisions for people that like do every day,
And then this is a question from the chat. Sarah Feingold, who is a friend of mine and she's a lawyer, wants to know our thoughts on the lifetime appointment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that makes sense. What if you go crazy? What if you go nuts? Like, why the lifetime appointment thing to me feels so like arbitrary. Like, why? I don't know.
I know why they do it, because the idea was like, then the judges will be protected against making decisions based on trying to be popular, as opposed to making decisions that were right or consistent with the law. But I hear what you're saying in terms of the lifetime appointment. Would you have it be like every year or every 4 years, or do you not have an opinion about that, or you just generally don't want it to be lifetime?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think I don't know, maybe it's like a normal job where you're like, you could be in the job if you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like, why is it all different? Like,
yeah. This is reminding me of Chris Rock when he was hosting SNL a couple weeks ago. He was like, "What kind of job do you have that you automatically have for 4 years, no matter what you do?"
Exactly. It's like, what, like you have to be like assessed. I don't know. And if you're doing good, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg for life, for sure. She's awesome, right? Like, but if you're not doing great, then you get the boot. I don't know. But I am literally the least qualified person to talk about this, but that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I don't think you're not qualified. I mean, that's the whole point of democracy, is that all of us get to have an opinion, and all of us get to share, what we think about our country and the way it should be run. So, yeah, it's really, I value your opinion. That's why I have you on the show, Cammie. So, I meant to put up your info again, and I just.
Oh, sure.
There you go. Okay, so it's been awesome talking to you. I think everyone should go follow Cammie on Instagram and look her up on her website. She has really fun videos up there, and her podcast is just lovely. It's just really great. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks
and I will see you. I'll see you later.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Cammie Dimitrova. Let's see. All right. I'm going to my side here. Okay. Next comedian we're going to have is Vanessa Jackson. Okay, let me get her up here. I just have to say, I think I'm doing pretty good with the tech. I'm a little slow, but things are working and they're happening. Okay.
Hello, you were killing the tech.
Hello.
I'm not on mute, which is delightful because I always forget to not do that.
I am noticing the patterns here, and it matches my pattern.
I knew it. I was like, it was the night. You know what I'm saying? We are sisters. We stand together. What's that movie from?
We are sisters.
Cheetah Girl?
It's from Cheetah Girl?
I'm already bringing out the dumbness.
I was never going to get that.
I didn't think you were.
Is that a movie for grown-ups?
It's a Disney Channel original movie. You're welcome. I saw the look in your eyes. You were gonna go deep. You were gonna be like, I don't know, what is it, Black Panther?
Yeah. I was feeling like some Viola Davis vibe.
No. Disney Channel original. You're welcome. We're about to get this started. Where are my communications majors at? Yeah, my 2.5 still alive. GPA people. That's gonna be me. Let's do this.
Oh my God! You've got some fans in the chat.
Hello, Blaze. What up? It's just Blaze. I love it.
Blaze is not a just. I mean, Blaze.
That's true. I'm so sorry.
I wasn't even meaning to have a double meaning there when I said Blaze brings the heat, because his name is Blaze, but he really does.
He does. Blaze is the whole package. You're welcome. I'm sorry, Blaze. Never just Blaze.
Never just. Okay, wait, let me put your info back up here, Vanessa. So, okay, I definitely wanted you on the show because I think you are so funny, and then I also you speak to the part of me that is very much into pop culture, and I love how you embrace it. So Vanessa and Marcella have a show together, and there is the show called Papa Politics, right?
It is. Yes, it's yes.
So what I love I've been on the show before, seen the show before. What I love about it is the combination of Vanessa and Marcella together. But Vanessa, why don't you tell everyone about the show instead of me talking?
It is fabulous. I cover I always say that. I almost say pop politics. I cover the pop culture. Marcella covers the politics. And together we make 0 sense. And somehow it works. You know, we bring the highbrow, the lowbrow. I teach her about stuff. She teaches me about stuff. Her more than me. And it's great.
You taught me a lot of stuff. I mean, stuff I did not even know. Wait, what was I going to say? I just got so excited thinking about you that and now I remember. Okay. You also have I don't know if the show that you do is just on Instagram or not, but it's a show where you, I guess you profile people, but you kind of do a deep dive on them. What's it called?
Yes, basically. So it's called VMZ, based off of TMZ. Very fun, the tabloid. And basically, I take my friends and I go through everything they've done on the internet for their entire lives, and then I drag them for it, basically, for 7 minutes on my Instagram. Yeah, it's just an Instagram show so far right now. And I put the episodes on YouTube and stuff. But who looks at YouTube anymore? You know?
Every single person who's watching the show right now looks on YouTube, Vanessa.
That is true. Then find me on YouTube. It's also there. Vanessa, 2 N's.
2 N's, yes, and 2 S's, but I think people would assume that. So
they don't always.
They don't. Okay, I believe that you would know. So I want to add. I want to put this up here, and you need to justify your life right now with this. Okay, I'm going to share the screen.
I'm very nervous.
You should be, because I don't think it'll be too bad though.
No, let's do it. What is it?
Okay. Please talk to me. Please talk to me about your man here.
Thank you so much. So in case anybody does not know, Shia LaBeouf, I think, is the greatest living American actor. Do not come for me in the comments. He's also the most attractive man who is currently on Earth, and we are all lucky to be alive during his heyday. Did you see the movie Honey Boy?
We did not see that.
Okay, let me tell you, it is on Amazon Prime. It is a movie that he wrote about his childhood. And if you watch that movie, he plays his father and another little boy plays him. And if you watch the movie, you will understand everything you need to know about him. I saw it 3 times in theaters. So you know it was good.
Oh my God.
I know.
Because you're a New York-based comedian.
Yes.
Please tell me which theater in New York City you went to 3 times.
Great question. Okay, so there's this one is it called La Angelique or something? It's like a fancy film theater. It's really nice when it opens back up again. I can't remember the full name.
It begins with an A.
Yeah.
That's if you know, but I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, I forget the name of it, but it's super fancy. And then I went once back when I was home in California because I need to take my family. I am not okay, and I accept that. It's too late for me.
So Tracy is a New York-based comedian who's an incredible fan of the show, Andrea. And she's like, I've never been so into someone else stretching.
Tracy, woman after my own heart. You get it. See, look at him. Okay, first of all, look at him in the pink with the purple with the blue. Look at the concentration on his face. That face says, I will love you forever. And I am okay with it.
People are coming for you, Vanessa. Such as Nick Malone.
What have you? Okay, what have you done? Get back to me.
So Sarah Feingold says Angelica.
Yes, Angelica. Sarah Feingold.
Right.
Thank you so much. That is the one.
Angelica. Angelica. Sarah for the win. Let's back to Nick Malone's. People get controversial on this show, and now it's about Shia. I feel. Go ahead.
Here is my one theory about Shia, because I do have to answer. I love this. See, people I think he's a bad actor because he's weird, and this photo is weird. It's also artsy, mostly weird. I think people in their heads, they're like, he's a bad actor. But if you really think about it, Eagle Eye, we're not going to talk about the Transformers franchise, okay? They've all done bad franchises. You need to bank your first $1 million, and then you can do good films, all right? What other films has he been in? Disturbia, I've seen them all, guys, and they're all fantastic.
So just for those of you, I know everyone can see what's happening in this picture. I just want to say it anyway. Shia has put a lit cigarette on his tongue, and he's letting it out there. Oh no! What?
Also, a really fun fact about him that I will say goes to the fact that he is weird is that for his latest movie that he did, which his name's I can't remember, The Tax Collector, which was a lot of cultural appropriation. We won't get into that. But he got a full chest piece tattoo, I think, of the Virgin Mary, like full on intense tattoo, and cannot remove that. And it was in one scene in the movie and apparently covered in like, so you never see it. He's dumb, but he's so artsy.
Right. So wait, does he have that tattoo for life?
Oh, for life. And it's fully covering his entire torso. It's like, I think it had to have taken an insane amount of time. He's a little too method, you know?
Sure. So here's the $1 million question. Should Shia LaBeouf be a Supreme Court justice?
Okay, yes, because I liked your point to Marcella earlier today. You had said that you thought that it's good to have like a bunch of different diverse voices and viewpoints on that. And he represents a weird, albeit existent part of the country, which mostly lives in Florida. And I feel like you get Shia on the court, he's going to speak to the Floridians. He's going to speak to the people who are a little bit crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's going to speak to them and he's going to know what they need because the rest of us don't know what they need.
You know, it's interesting because one of the things I love about the show, I always kind of walk away with a different viewpoint on things. And I think there is definitely I would have had the belief before the show of like, no, we only want certain kinds of people who have certain kinds of education or whatever. But it's like, well, maybe we need representation of people who are not, you know, who would tattoo their bodies for no good reason and make sure their perspective is in there. Maybe, but in the sense of that person will elect, you know, could either be on the court or he can elect to be part of the people who elect those people.
Exactly. And listen, we know for a fact that even if he doesn't do anything worthwhile for our country, you know, he's not going to wear anything under that robe. And there's a chance that we'll see those abs. And that's all that matters.
It appears as though some members of our audience feel that Shia ruined their lives.
What? Okay. We're not going to talk about franchises. We're talking about his real acting. Franchises don't count. Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Ocean's 11 when they talk about George Clooney, we don't count it.
I liked Ocean's 11. Okay.
I did too.
I want to give you you know, let's see, am I still sharing that screen? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing pictures of Shia because, I'm going to stop sharing Shia. So I'm very curious, Vanessa.
Yes.
What you were like.
I'm so excited for this quiz. You have no idea. Love a good BuzzFeed quiz, and I love that this one's like smart. Let's do it.
Let me just say for the record, this is not a BuzzFeed quiz, although if there were going to be, I would appreciate it if BuzzFeed did do this.
You're right. They would be like, really excited. I respect it.
Okay, first question. What city would you most like to visit? Boston, New York City, DC, San Fran, LA, or Chicago?
Chicago. I've never been. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Chicago. Okay. Pick a drink. Water, beer, white wine, soda, tea, coffee, or red wine?
Coffee. All about that latte life. The fake ones.
Got it. Okay. What political party do you most identify with? Republican, Democrat, Independent / other?
The Tea Party. Just kidding. I would say probably Independent. More so.
Okay. Got a lot of independents tonight. All right. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what would you bring? Food, football, smartphone, a friend, or favorite book?
Okay. This one, I'm going to say favorite book, and it would be the Bible. I got that Bread of Life. You see what I did there?
Oh my God. Wait, is Bread of Life a Shia LaBeouf movie?
No. I just meant because you don't need food when you have the Word of God.
Okay, first of all,
But if Shia was an option, I would bring him.
I don't even know what to say. You're the first person who said book, and then you doubled down and said you would bring the Bible. Did you say that because you know that my mother is watching right now? And
No, I didn't.
the minister, are you trying to win points with Cynthia Sears? This is the question.
No, but now I love your mom even more.
She's adorable. She's adorable. Okay, I love it. All right, let's see. Oh, what's your favorite season? Winter, spring, summer, or fall?
Fall. I'm all about that pumpkin spice. I'm as basic as it gets when fall hits. It's sad.
I'm just mad about the temperature. I don't. Okay. What kind of pet do you
when
want?
it's a little chilly.
You do? Okay. What kind of pet do you want? A fish, a horse, a dog, a bird, or a cat?
A nun, but if I had to go with one, it would be a dog.
Okay. No, see, I like cats. Nobody's picking mine. Okay, it's calculating the results.
Thurgood?
No one's getting Thurgood. You got Justice Kennedy, like me and Marcella.
What? Interesting.
Justice Kennedy, appointed by Ronald Reagan in 1987. He's not related to the Kennedys, but when faced with complicated decisions, you are detail-oriented and prefer to look at all aspects of a situation before making a decision. You're a Kennedy.
Okay, cool. Look at me go.
All right now. So tell me what your verdict is on the way that the Supreme Court is currently. Do you like the current laws, or do you think there need to be requirements, or you want it to be, you want the Supreme Court to be democratically elected like Marcella and Cammie, or do you have your head on straight and you want it to be like me, where there's age requirements and education requirements?
In the real world, I would like age requirements and education requirements. So I agree with you. In my world, I kind of love how baller it is that you can just get on this court and just kick back and live your life. Can you imagine if you just didn't get fired from your job? You just showed up and were like, I'm here till I die. You know how annoying I would be? Oh, man. It would be the dream.
I mean, it sounds like on a personal level you want that, but I'm sure, aren't you?
I might go for this. You're sure what?
I think somebody put in here, was Thurgood Marshall a bird person? I think, but do you feel that, but if everyone's job was like that, where they had the job for life, would you want that for others?
Oh, here is also in my perfect world. I love the idea that you can't get fired, but you can always quit. That is honestly, I think that's like the win-win for all of us.
Oh my God. Oh,
Vanessa! Talking about the smartness now.
I don't think that you are not smart. I just
like, let's do this.
I respect the baller nature. It has been so amazing talking to you, Vanessa. I have to go because we're almost running out of time and we have to bring on our last comedian. But please follow Vanessa on Instagram. Also look at her website, Very Vanessa. And I will tell you this from personal knowledge. I know that if Vanessa does not post a Shia LaBeouf photo within a couple number of days, if you message her and say, like, where's the Shia shit, she will post, because that's what I've done to her. I've been like,
I'm just doing the Lord's work. You're welcome.
And that's what she says. And she believes posting pictures of Shia is the Lord's work. So she's a treasure. Okay. All right. Bye, Vanessa.
Bye.
All right. Okay. We're at our last comedian. Let me check the comments. Let's see. Someone's dragging the post office. Okay, our next comedian is Brendan McLaren Dowling. Let's bring him into the room and add him to the stream. Brendan!
Hello!
Hello! Let me put up your info.
Oh my gosh, please.
So people can, so Brendan is making history tonight as the first improv comedian that we've had on the show. So I'm very excited to see you.
It's a monumental night. Thank you for letting me break that glass ceiling.
I will say this. Brendan has known me the longest of anyone on the show. I have known Brendan since I was a sophomore. Actually, I knew you when I was a freshman in college. We went to the College of William and Mary together. All right, now I'm going to have to do some screen sharing because I've got some photos here, Brendan. And
we famously saw Scream 2 together. A lot of people talk about that. And 20-year-old Andrea Coleman was very impacted by Jerry O'Connell, his shirtless scene. But I was too, so I mean, we both had that in common.
Here we go. Here, actually,
good. Yeah, yep. Those are the pictures that I would want shared on the top left corner is me and Andrea. I think that's after college, right? Were you visiting Chicago?
No, that was Beach Week. So Brendan and I were in an improv group together. Brendan, let's see, it was called IT, and it was at the College of William and Mary. And every summer we would take the proceeds from our shows and we'd stay at a beach in Nag's Head for a week. And so that was at the beach house, the top left. And then the bottom is a bunch of us. I think it was everybody in the improv group when we were on tour.
Yeah.
And the top right was, I think, last year.
Last year we were both in Austin at the same time. I was there with my boyfriend visiting a friend of his, and then you were there for a comedy festival, right?
Oh God, yeah, you're right. I was there.
You were headlining a comedy festival.
I don't know if I was headlining it, but if I were smart, I would not question that piece publicly, and I would say I was headlining. I don't know if I was headlining, but I was there. I performed stand-up there. But Brendan is I'm gonna keep strolling here. He's a very talented improv comedian. This is Brendan with his improv group, the Improvised Shakespeare Company. So I've seen Brendan perform improv a million times, but what is so amazing about this particular group is they improvised in, I think, isn't it always an iambic pentameter?
No, but it's like in Elizabethan verse, yeah.
Okay. All of it's Elizabethan verse, which is amazing, and you can see them in their incredible costumes. They perform all over the country. They've performed with like celebrities as well. There's a woman who came to see your show from one of those like teen franchise movies.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God, I was so excited. She was in the vampire one.
Oh, Rose McIver from iZombie, is that it?
It could be, but I don't know who that is.
Okay.
It's the one. It's the one.
Oh, Kristen Stewart.
Thank you. Yeah. Kristen Stewart, and you performed with Patrick Stewart and George from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah, Bradley Whitford. Yep. It's been
right. Oh, yeah. And then Brendan is also a writer on season 2 of the Showtime show Work in Progress.
Yep, that happened right before quarantine, and it'll probably go into production hopefully early next year. So if you have Showtime, please watch it. And if you don't have Showtime, watch it. Just make a friend, go over to their house and watch a fun show.
Exactly. I'll stop the screen share and get us both in here bigger. So Brendan is, I just wanted Brendan on the show because he's really funny and he's a dear friend of mine. But he also just happens to have very like on point things to say about the Supreme Court. You actually have some Supreme Court stories, Brendan.
Yeah. Well, when I was a junior in high school, I did this summer program at a private school near where I grew up called Milton Academy in Massachusetts. And it was, you would take like 2 classes. And I think the whole thing, it was kind of like a resume builder and for privileged people. And then you would live there for 6 weeks. But it was run by Clarence Thomas's first wife, Kathy Thomas. And so a bunch of us, I think like on the 5th week or so, we all snuck out of our dorm rooms and like wandered around Milton, Massachusetts for like 18 minutes. And we got caught. And then Kathy Thomas reprimanded me. And I told you that story. Like I forget what she said, but it wasn't me personally, but like I was in a room with a bunch of other 16-year-olds, and she was just like, what were you doing? But here's a thing that I've always assumed that it was Kathy Thomas, because this was like 1993, so it would have been, I think, 2 years after Clarence Thomas had been appointed to the Supreme Court. And then, everybody, kind of like the urban legend about this woman was she was Clarence Thomas's first wife. And I don't think I ever did the research, but I just took that as the truth. But I think it also might have just been this poor woman was like Clarence Thomas's age and had the last name of Thomas, and everyone was like, she was married to Clarence Thomas. I know it. And I think I have looked it up since then and have verified it, but yes.
So that's okay. So you have a connection to Clarence Thomas.
To Clarence Thomas, and then one of Antonin Scalia's children was went to William and Mary with us, and he was in my English class freshman year. And again, it was a thing where like everyone, you'd be like, well, you know who that is. You know who his dad is, don't you? And I'd be like, no, I don't. And then the final thing. Oh, and then 2 years ago, the Improvised Shakespeare Company played a literary festival in Idaho, and Justice Breyer was there, and he was speaking about one of the books that he had written, and so was his wife, who is I think she's a pediatric oncologist. I might be making that up. She's a doctor, and she has also written a book, I think, about helping parents grieve. So they're two very smart people.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, you are the first guest on the show who has had connections to 3 Supreme Court justices.
Andrea, I didn't even tell you, I went to prom with Sandra Day O'Connor.
Yeah.
There was a lottery, I think, in 1992, and there was an essay writing contest, and the person who wrote the best essay went to prom with Sandra Day O'Connor. And so
incredible.
I don't like to talk about that much, because that night was just for us. It was fun. But yeah, that was a very important part of my life.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, and the other thing that makes you unique is you were the first guest who beforehand gave me a Black female judge that you wanted me to highlight. Actually, there's 2, but we're going to talk about the first one first.
Okay.
We are running over time, so people are actually getting more bang for their buck here, because I think it was supposed to end at 9:30, but the next show is not till 11.
I mean, where do we have to be? In all honesty, like,
I'm gonna break the rules.
What are they gonna do? Like, put us in StreamYard jail?
I don't know. But I do want to, let's see, put it here, because it's so exciting. The thing that was fun is Brendan is a Fondria, and he knows what we do on the show. And so he was like, oh, I want you to do this specific judge because, well, okay, I'm going to say the name and then you say the connection. The judge is Judge Barbara Dorch O'Cara. And while I add her picture, please tell us how you came to know this judge.
Okay, so the year that Andrea and I were in college together, I got called for jury duty my winter break. And so I sat on a jury trial for a murder in the first case. And Judge Dorch O'Cara was the presiding judge over that. And so she, I always just, her name is so memorable, so I always remembered it. And so, so then when Andrea had talked to me about doing the show, and I said, oh, I think I have a judge. Do I have a judge for you? And Andrea said, do you? And I said, yes. And so this is I spent 5 days with her in Brockton, Massachusetts in 1997.
That's incredible. I'm so jealous that you got to be on the jury.
Oh gosh, I mean, it was a great learning experience. I'm glad it happened to me when I was 21 because it was sobering in terms of like, oh, these are the people who are going to decide if I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life. Like, it was a real ragtag group of folks, and we also keep in touch. We're all in a Facebook group together.
Are you serious?
No, Andrea. Andrea, I didn't talk to any of them for like 5 days. Like we would just go out, like they would call for lunch and I would kind of look around and everyone would avoid eye contact with me. And then I would like walk to a diner and eat by myself. But yeah, it was an intense experience and one that I'm grateful to have. And it gives me a lot of appreciation for our civic duty to be on, to serve on a jury.
I understood and agreed. I mean, I don't want to sit on a criminal trial. That does seem intense.
I mean, Andrea, it got intense. People were crying. People were sharing dark moments from their life. Which, like, I was only 21. I didn't have anything. But like, yeah.
Well, let's tell everyone I'm going to tell everyone about Judge George O'Carra.
Okay,
so he's the first African American and the first woman to become Chief Justice for administration and management of the trial court when she was appointed there in 1998. She was born in Memphis, Tennessee. She graduated from Brandeis University in 1971 and from Boston College Law School in 1974. She was appointed as judge of the Boston Municipal Court by the governor in 1984. She retired from the bench in 2012 and became a professor at the New England School of Law. And then she was later appointed to chair the State Ethics Committee. So that is her. But then I also want to give you an opportunity to talk about another Black female.
Yeah.
Just again, Brendan is just bringing it. Like, he comes with content. And that is very much appreciated.
Yeah, first rule of Wack or Woke, always bring content. Like, that's what you just have to be, whether it's like a short film or a poem or an essay. So this is Judge Pam Timmons Goodson, and she is running for Congress right now in North Carolina in like the Fayetteville area.
Oh,
and so
is her name Pam or Pat? I don't know why I thought.
Oh gosh, I'm an idiot. It is Pat Timmons Goodson.
Okay, good. I just make sure. Okay.
Thank you. I'm humiliated. It's Pat Timmons Goodson, and she is running for Congress, and I've been phone banking for her the past month or so, and she was the first Black woman to be nominated for to serve on the North Carolina Supreme Court, and then she served. I think she left there in like 2007, and then in 2012, President Obama appointed her to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and she served there. And then President Obama was like, "You're so amazing. I want to make you a federal judge." So he nominated her to be a federal judge. Dun dun dun. Old Purple Hands Mitch McConnell blocked the nomination, and so she was not able to be a federal judge. But now she's running for Congress, and she is just a amazing, smart candidate that we would be lucky to have serve on the House of Representatives. And
it's exciting because this is the first time we're talking about 3 Black female judges. So she used to be, like you said, the first Black woman on the North Carolina Supreme Court, and then, like you were saying, Obama wanted her to be a federal judge, and that was blocked. So she's now running for Congress, and the website is below if you want to know more about her or participate and supporting her campaign for that, which is exciting. And Brendan is, in addition to being very funny, is a great citizen. I want to give you the test, but I don't know if we have time for the test.
Well, while you were giving it earlier, I found one on BuzzFeed and I took it, and I did get Breyer.
You did?
I did, yeah. But this was a different one. Your questions were more specific. These were more like jokey.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy to take the Blaze challenge and answer Bird and see what happens if that gets us Thurgood Marshall. But
it's possible that it does like hinge on the bird, on the animal situation. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a start. I'm very curious. What city do you want to visit? Boston, New York, DC, San Fran, Chicago, or LA?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. We don't have time for me to be dithering about this. I'll say New York.
Okay. And Brendan used to live in Chicago.
I used to live in Chicago. My family is close to Boston, so that's really, maybe I should say Boston, because is it too late to change?
I don't think so. Okay, let me go back.
I bet if I say Boston, I'm going to get like someone from the 1800s. Maybe Louis Brandeis.
Now I hit the back button.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Andrea.
Oh no, it's totally fine. I just have
to. This is you're very accepting, and much like just as Judge Ada Brown thinks of Judge Sandra Day O'Connor, I too find you approachable, charming, and kind.
Thank you very much.
Although, can we talk about that for 1 second?
Yes.
I think can you imagine, like, if you describe someone as approachable, if that's the first adjective that you use to describe someone, I think that's like sends a warning sign about like you're a sociopath.
Well, wait, the person who says you're approachable or the person that's being...
I mean, if someone was like, oh, describe Andrea, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so approachable. Like that would be like, that's damning with faint praise. That's like not a compliment. That's just, that's like, oh, she has eyebrows. Like,
no, I think only certain people are going to be called approachable because there's something about them on the face of them that might make you not approach them.
Yeah, like if you were surrounded by like snarling Doberman pinchers, I would be like, oh, you're not approachable. But if you didn't have a bunch of snarling Doberman pinchers, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're approachable. I like you. You're fun.
Right. Let's see here. Wait, I'm going to make sure I'm not getting...
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I found it. I'm just making sure I'm not getting... Oh, I love it. You got some love from Cheryl. She's saying that you're coming correct.
Oh, that's... Cheryl Scully, who... You and she were master pranksters together in your college days.
We absolutely were. Cheryl is a member of our improv group as well. Okay, wait, let's see here. Let me put your info back up here, Brendan, so that people can follow you. All right, I've got the quiz ready to go.
Okay.
Do you want to change it to Boston?
I'll say Boston. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Okay. And for drink, water, beer, white wine, soda.
Red wine.
Red wine.
I'll say red wine.
Okay. What political party do you most identify with?
Democrat.
Okay. If you were stranded on a deserted island, would you bring food, football, smartphone, a friend, or a favorite book?
I'd bring a book. Let's catch up on some reading.
You work for the Library Association, though, right?
I work for the Public Library Association.
That's amazing.
Interview authors for them. I like to read.
Of course, you would have to, I suppose. And
Yeah,
what's your favorite season?
Fall.
Okay. And what kind of a pet do you want? Fish, horse?
So I should say, let's say bird for this and see what happens.
Okay.
Although I feel like now the thinking is it's not ethical to have a bird as a pet.
Oh, I did not hear that.
I think this is like in the last 10 years or so.
You got a new one.
Oh.
You are Justice Elena Kagan.
Oh.
Justice Kagan was appointed to the Supreme Court in 2010 by President Obama. She was 50 when she was appointed, making her the youngest current sitting justice. Despite her informal status as the most junior justice on the court, Justice Kagan has been praised for her eloquence. Just like Justice Kagan, you are passionate and not afraid of going against those with seniority in order to fight for your beliefs.
Oh my gosh. What an honor.
Yeah.
To get that response after I dishonestly answered at least 2 of the questions.
That's a good point. Well, so let's find out. So how do you feel about the Supreme Court laws?
I think I agree with everything everybody has said. I think I like the fact that there's that anyone can be it. So, and I think we should start pushing that, like that you didn't go to law school, that you didn't go to college, and have a more truly representative showing on the court. And I also think there should be term limits. And I read on Twitter today a tweet that spoke to me, and it said that it should be 16 years, and that gives you enough time to learn how to do it well. And then also, I think because I mean it doesn't. I don't think enough people realize how much the election influences the court, and so I think if there was a thing of like, well, this next president will definitely decide 2 judges, then yes, I am going to vote for the one who most represents my beliefs and values.
Mm-hmm. All right. I like this. I mean, everyone's getting me to change some of the way I think about things, which I think is good, because I think people should be willing, if they hear something compelling, to kind of adjust what they're thinking and adopt, like, oh, okay, well, I haven't thought about it that way. Oh, and it looks like Cheryl knows a little something about Justice Kagan.
Kagan loves, I mean, infamously, Justice Kagan loves, like, she's always in an aviary. She just wears a lot of boas.
Well, I'm gonna bring our comedians back here to say goodbye. Okay, I see Cammie and Vanessa. I must be. Let's see, is Vanessa still around?
Well, I have news for Vanessa.
Oh, I know you do. You have some info for Vanessa. Let's see if we can add.
Hello. It just resembles my real life. Hello.
Marcella has to go, but I wanted to bring you all back on, and specifically, I think Brendan has some info that might be of interest to Vanessa.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Vanessa, I've got intel for you. So my friend Tim Paul delivered for Postmates 2 years ago, and one of the people that he delivered to was Shia LaBeouf, and then that made him follow Shia LaBeouf on Twitter, and he realized that Shia LaBeouf was offering acting classes, and the first class was free, so Tim went to it. And I think, I might be making this up at this point, but I think the class was like a devised theater thing where like you would be working in the class over 8 weeks with Shia to write your own theatrical piece. But I think Tim had Shia LaBeouf. I think by going to that class, Tim had cell phone information for Shia LaBeouf. And I don't know if that was a primary cell phone or it's like a burner phone that Shia has for classes, but
I don't care what it is. If it was under his name at one point, I'm here for it.
4 degrees of separation. 3, really.
Yes. It's like we're married.
Yeah, you're so close.
He's going to see all this and for sure get a restraining order. But until then.
I think when he gets the Google alert about this, he's going to just reach out to you directly and be like, let's collaborate.
He'll be like, the love of my life.
Well, this has been so fun. I'm going to have to bring this party to a close, which I don't want to do. I'm already 18 minutes over, but you all have been so amazing. And nobody has had the same viewpoint as I've had about these laws. And I think that's great. And you've all gotten me to consider things in a totally different way. And so it seems like we all think the current Supreme Court laws are whack, and we just have different ways of improving them, which I think is what democracy is all about. So thank you everybody for being on the show, and thank you everyone for watching the show. Please follow these incredible comedians on Instagram and Twitter, and go to their website, and that's it. And have a great night. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.